So that lady actually was the first person to ever really fully pet Ivy since I've had her. She was cuddling her and rubbing her on both sides and rubbing her head and scratching her under the neck. And it was the first time in 2 years of me having Ivy, 2 years and a couple of months, that somebody was able to actually pet Ivy full force, full on. Here, if I can figure out where I put my hat. I don't even know where I put that hat. I was wearing a hat earlier, and that's what made my hair do this. It might be a little easier to look at me if I were wearing a hat. This isn't the hat I was wearing earlier. But we'll do it anyway. So, just because, man, it is all outrageous there. So, and it's still pretty rough here. I'm going to stuff it up under here. I was thinking about getting my hair cut right before the Suburban got stolen. And now I don't even know how far I'd have to walk just to get my hair cut. You know, I was in the middle of getting my CDL. I've taken one of the tests, and I pretty much gotten to where I was sure I would pass the second test, and I was studying for the third test. The internet only says I had to take the first test that I passed with flying colors, but I'm trying to center myself there. So, you know, that was when I was doing it at Daly City in south of San Francisco. It's Daly, Daly City, but the guy's name was John Daly, I think. So, you know, he gets to pronounce Daly however he wants. I was like, no, it's Daly City, but no, it's Daly City. So, there's only certain DMVs that actually do CDL testing. The closest DMV to this marina is a 3-hour walk south. And I would have to go through some of the nastiest neighborhoods of Oakland to get there, you know, just to get to that location. And then there'd be a 3-hour walk to get back. And the first time I went and did all the paperwork, it took me 6 hours at the DMV just to get one test done, and one test failed. I never even made it into the third test. So then the actual school is in San Jose, which is a 25-30 minute drive depending on traffic, down in San Jose at the very southern end of the bay. And I mean, my boat can't even go that far south in the bay. It's just too shallow. So I can get almost an hour and a half walk away from the school on the BART, which is the Bay Area Regional Transportation Train, and it's only like 2 blocks away. But it'll take 30 minutes to get down there, and then it'll take me an hour and a half, 2 hours to walk over to the school, if it's the school I think it is, and that's the flaw. The original plan was that I would take the bird and the dog in the Suburban, and we would drive down there, and I would go to school Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday with the Suburban out in the parking lot, and then every break we got, I could go out and make sure the bird and the dog were okay. At night we could just go over to the truck stop down the street and sleep in the Suburban, and then Friday we'd come back to the marina, and we'd have our 2 nights in the marina, without any issue. But without the Suburban, I can't get there. I can't even get to the DMV without wasting half the day. I'd have to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning to get there by 6:30 in the morning. So let's see, if I got up at 5 in the morning and I woke the bird up immediately and I started walking, I could get there, if I didn't get mugged or shot or stabbed or whatever, I could get there by 8. And then 6 hours later, it'd be 3 o'clock in the afternoon. If I passed, I would start walking back here. I'd get back here at like 5 or 6 in the evening. That's assuming, and I don't know this for a truth, because like I said, not all DMVs in California actually do the CDL testing. So I don't know that one does it. But, even if I got my CDL permit, I can't make it to the school. And I have no way to stay down there. And if I did stay down there, if I did, take the bus down there or the train down there, it would take literally 6 hours. So I would get back here, go to bed, wake up, immediately leave. I wouldn't have any time with the dog or the bird. I wouldn't be able to feed him. Literally, it would be a disaster. It would be just a complete disaster. I'd be 16 hours a day, traveling, schooling, get here, go to sleep, wake up 6 hours later, walk back over to the train and get back on it to go back down there. It's not going to fly. Not to mention that assumes that I could even stay on the boat during the whole entire thing. School is, I think, like 3 or 4 weeks. But to be honest with you, since I don't even know which school it is, I'm not 100% sure about that either. So my friend loaned me this $2,000. I've contacted I think we're up to 6 different cars that are on Facebook, looking for a car that I can actually buy that would be, decent. A very large number of them are scammers. I have absolutely no doubt that in the next week I'm going to start getting a lot more telemarketing calls and a lot more emails from, a variety of scam services, people that were data mining. Today I responded to a Honda Civic that looked like it was probably a decent car. They originally said on the ad that it was in San Francisco and they wanted $1,000 for it, which seemed a little bit outrageous, but, too cheap. But I responded to it anyway, and, she said, well, contact me at this email address. It's my sister's car, and, she's the one selling it. And I was like, oh, I don't know. So I sent it via one of my secondary emails, and it came back, well, you got to contact this other company who I stored the car with during my divorce, and they're dealing with the sale of it, and it's in Omaha, Nebraska. I'm like, complete scam. It's an absolute scam. There's 25 ads that I've come across that are all the same exact verbiage. Everybody on the entire, service is saying the exact same thing. This car is perfect, no encumbrances. There's a lot more to it than that, but I posted it on Facebook, the exact verbiage. And there's 15 cars that would cost $2,500 to $3,000 to buy that are all $800. They're all $800. It's a total scam. I haven't responded to any of those people, but I did send a message to a guy who had I think it was a 98 Honda Accord for $800, and down in San Jose. And I found another Honda Civic Hybrid, like my old one, for $1,700 with a smashed-in tail lamp. The rear bumper's knocked down a little bit, and the trunk doesn't quite close quite properly. It got rear-ended, but it has a new battery and a new charger. So technically, that's a pretty decent car if you don't put too many things on the electrical system, because that was the problem I had with my old 2006. This one's a 2007. They get about 4,000 miles to the gallon. About 45 miles to the gallon, sorry. The internet says 50 miles to the gallon, but it's more like 45 miles to the gallon. And I could probably find a new trunk lid, and I could probably get that bumper straightened out. And then if it has a non-salvage title, I could probably sell it for more than I paid. But unfortunately, the money I was loaned is in limbo. Even though she has her bank account at Wells Fargo and I have my bank at Wells Fargo, and they're transferring it from one account to the other at the same bank, it still takes 24 hours. You could Venmo it to me and it would only take 5 minutes, but so I want to respond to those people, and yet I don't. I mean, it kind of makes me nervous to buy that Honda Civic Hybrid, because my last one, even though I really liked the car, it's really not a very good car. They're really not very well built. The engine's fine. The electrical system is garbage, and the battery's garbage. The only reason this one would be kind of okay is because the battery's already been replaced and the charger's already been replaced. So maybe I could get, 6-8 months out of it, and if I replaced the trunk, the trunk lid, and straightened out the latch and the bumper on the back end of it, I might be able to sell it for $3,500, which is, that'd be an okay profit for doing it, and that makes it tempting. But those are the two best cars I've come across. I came across an '89 Camry that's only a couple of blocks from here. I could literally walk over there and get it. And the guy only wants like $850 for it. But he doesn't have a title. It's registered in Washington State. He claims it'll pass smog in California, but smog in California is different than Washington, and they're really nasty about it here in California. So it's plausible that it would need a whole new catalytic converter, and that's like another $800. So then it's $1,600 for a car that has one of those stupid automatic seat belts that automatically, and I hate those. So to me, that seems a little scammy too. So I don't know what's going to happen. Uber started a new background check because the one that I started 9 days ago never went through. It just seems to be stuck in limbo. It's got a little yellow triangle, with a letter or an exclamation point in it, like it failed or they lost it, or I don't know what it means. So they started a whole new one, and it says that it'll be in between the 1st and the 6th. I can't wait until the 6th to pay my rent at the marina. That's not going to fly. So I put on some really hefty gloves, and I went out and I scrubbed all the algae off the bottom of my boat last night and this morning, and off my rudder. And, technically we could go motor out and anchor somewhere, but I'm going to need to make an anchor halter out of some rope, and it'll be the first time I anchor with this boat. I need somebody to give me a ride to a gas station, because even though I have 3 or 4 gallons of fuel, I'd rather have a full tank when I go out. And then I might just go over to Treasure Island. It depends on what happens here. If I find a car and I get a car, then I'm working this weekend, and we'll start getting this solved fast. I'll work all day, every day. Yeah, see, he even knows. He hears me. We'll bust butt and get this sucker fixed. I'll get my friend paid back as fast as possible. I'll get my rent paid, and we'll start saving up to get another car. Or another Suburban, because, we need something like that. If the old Suburban comes back, I want to be able to switch any good parts over to the other one. And, I'm really thinking about July 4th, being at Grandma's birthday. This whole thing was a total wreck. I don't have any camping gear. I don't have any fishing equipment. Everything got lost in the whole thing. And so, hopefully any of that comes back in the truck. The police told me that, like I said, there's a 50-50 chance that they're going to see the car if it's outside. If it's in a warehouse, or if it's inside of a building being stripped, who knows. My best luck is that the battery died last Sunday. The meat in the freezer is starting to rot like crazy, and they're ignoring that car. It's sitting in the corner. And at some point, the guy's going to open the door and be like, "Holy crap, it stinks like hell in there. Push this thing out in the street." And then I get my whole truck back because of the rotten meat in my freezer. That's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm praying. I don't know, but that's what I'm hoping for. See you guys.